Hello and namaste. From this session onwards, we'll be starting with the chi-square distribution, and with this particular session is dedicated for the introduction of the chi-square distribution, the definition, the properties, the uses and applications of chi-square distribution along with the chi-square test of goodness of fit. So this in the probability theory and the statistics, the chi-square distribution is also known as the chi-squared or chi-square distribution with k degrees of freedom is distribution of a sum of squares of k independent standard normal random variables. The chi-square distribution is a special case of gamma distribution and is one of the most widely used probability distribution in inferential statistics. Notably, in hypothesis testing and in construction of confidence intervals. The distribution is sometimes called the central chi-square distribution, a special cases of the more general non-central chi-square distribution. The chi-square distribution is used in common chi-square test for the goodness of fit. Often observed distribution to a theoretical one, the independence of two criteria of classification of qualitative data and in the confidence interval estimation for a population standard deviation of a normal distribution for a sample standard deviation. Many other statistical tests also used this distribution, such as Friedman's analysis of variance by rank. Let us define and explore the chi-square distribution. Now, chi-square distribution, if x1, x2, xn are normally distributed independent random variables, then it is known as or known that x1 square plus x2 square up to xn, actually it is xn square, follows a probability distribution called chi-square distribution. The distribution with new degrees of freedom. So we have defined this new in the session of sampling theory, the beginning session where I've explained all the important definition, important concepts which are related to the sampling theory. Please do follow before going for this particular, go and follow the session so that this session would not be difficult for you all to understand, because the concepts like mu or the different concepts which I have already explained, I'm not going to take it again in the this current session. Current session is only dedicated for the chi-square distribution and the goodness of fit. The probability density function of chi-square distribution is given by f of chi-square is equals to 1 upon 2 to the power nu by 2 square root of nu by 2 into chi-square nu by 2 minus 1 into e to the power minus nu square by 2 for the 0 less than equals to nu square less than infinity, where nu is the number of degrees of freedom. Nu is the number of degrees of freedom. So this is just a definition of the distribution, or you can say the PDF, probability density function of the chi-square distribution. But in the sampling distribution or sampling theory will not be taking care of this particular, will be taking care of test of goodness of fit. But before that, we'll be just defining chi-square distribution in detail. So what are the properties of chi-square distribution? If you observe here, a rough sketch of a probability curve of the chi-square distribution for nu equals to 3 and for nu equals to 6 has been given here. And therefore, as nu becomes, if you observe here, if nu becomes smaller and smaller, the curve is skewed more and more towards the right. So if you observe here, it's a mu equals to 3 and mu equals to 6. This is the difference between the curves. And if I am going to take mu is equals to 2, again this curve would be somewhere like this. It will be more skewed towards this. Again it would be more towards this. And as nu increases, the curve become more and more symmetrical. So as soon as we are going ahead with the more mu equals to or a greater mu, say for mu is equals to 8, so you will be getting something like this type of curve. That means what? As nu increases, the curve becomes more and more symmetrical. That means as this nu tends to the infinity, will be going to the normal. Anyways, we'll be going ahead with that. Mean and the variance of nu square, the chi-square distribution are nu and 2 nu respectively. And as I have told you this, as nu tending to infinity, the chi-square distribution becomes a normal distribution. So if you'll observe here, this is almost to the normal, taking towards the normal distribution as this nu is going towards the infinity. That means nu is a bigger number. Uses of chi-square distribution. Chi-square distribution is used to test the goodness of fit. That is, it is used to judge whether a given sample may be reasonably regarded as a simple sample from a certain hypothetical population. So it's a simple sample from certain hypothetical population. So it's used to test the goodness of fit. And the second is, it is used to test the independence of attributes. That is, if a population is known to have two attributes or trials, then chi-square distribution is used to test whether the two attributes are associated or independent based on the sample drawn from the population. So just for this particular current you can say the session, you just understand this as everything I have given you on the slides, and I'm trying to explain you, but you would understand better whenever we'll be going for the examples. At that time you would understand this entire you can say the theory part at the time of the solving the questions. Then chi-square test of goodness of fit. Now, based on the hypothesis assumed about the population, we find expected frequencies, that is EIs, I is from 1 to n, corresponding to the observed frequency OI. So O is for the observed frequency and then E is nothing but the expected frequencies. We are taking the notation as. Then such that summation of EI is equals to summation of OI, and it is known that chi-square is equals to summation of OI minus EI the square divided by EI. So this is what is the chi-square. So you can just say that this is nothing but a chi-square cal, or you can say calculated. So we have to calculate and we have to check that. Okay, that also we'll just go ahead with. Follows approximately a chi-square distribution with the degrees of freedom, that is a number of independent frequencies. With the degrees of freedom, number of independent frequencies. Okay, now to test the goodness of fit, we must determine how far the differences between OI and EI can be attributed to fluctuations of sampling. When can we assert that the differences are large enough to conclude that the sample is not a simple sample from the hypothetical population? In other words, we must determine how large a value of chi-square we can get to assume that the sample is a simple sample from the hypothetical population. So this is about the chi-square test of goodness of fit. You will understand it better as I've told you. You might be thinking that just a theoretical part, yes, but theory, to understand the theory is very important to go ahead and solve the examples. The critical value of chi-square for new degrees of freedom at a LOS, that is a level of significance, denoted by chi-square nu of alpha, and is given by probability chi-square cal greater than chi-square nu greater than alpha is equals to alpha. That means the critical value of chi-square distribution corresponding to a few important LOS and the range of values of nu are available in the form of the table called chi-square table. Actually this we should not take the cal value. Cal value is what we are going to form, or we are going to take it. So we'll just take it as probability of chi-square greater than chi-square nu of alpha is equals to alpha. Okay, so this is known as it's a range of a nu available in the form of table known as chi-square table. We'll just have a look at this chi-square table as well at the end, but we'll be solving, or we'll be using the chi-square table whenever we'll go for actual questions. Now decision on H0. If the calculated chi-square cal is less than chi-square nu alpha, then we need to accept H0, which assumes that the given sample is one drawn from the hypothetical population. That is, we will conclude that the difference between the observed and the expected frequencies is not significant at a percentage of LOS. So whatever this percentage is given, at that percentage of level of significance, it is acceptable. Observed and expected frequencies are not significant. The second is if chi-square cal is greater than chi-square nu of alpha, then we'll be rejecting H0. That is, we'll conclude that the difference is significant. Conclude that the difference is significant. Now here in this case, so if you observe this chi-square cal and chi-square nu value, so here this H0, they have assumed here in this H0, assumption is not the expected frequencies are not significant. So that means what we will be having this as not significant. So this is a non-parametric test, and non-parametric test will always be having as the you can say a statement. H0 would be as a statement. So significant and non-significant kind of this H0 and H1 will be having the statements. Okay. So the conditions for the validity of chi-square test. This is very important here. Now the number of observations n in the sample must be reasonably large, say greater than or equals to 50. Second is individual frequencies must not be too small, that is OI is greater than or equals to 10. In case OI is less than or equals to 10, it is combined. Very important to find out the degrees of freedom. So this is the very important step to find out whenever we are going for the goodness of fit. At that time, if the OIs, that is means the observed frequencies, are coming out less than or equals to 10. Now in this particular the book which I have referred here, there few of the books are considering this as OI is less than or equals to 5. So this is also one of the assumption. So few of the books are taking OI should be less than or equals to 5. That time they are combining, or few of them are going with OI less than or equals to 10. So here we'll be considering OI is less than or equals to 10 for this particular session. It is combined with the neighboring frequencies, so that the combined frequency is always greater than or equals to 10. So we always should have this OI is greater than or equals to 10. If not, we will try to combine them in the consecutive or the previous you can say the frequencies, so that the addition of them would give us greater than or equals to 10. The third one is the number of classes n must be neither too small nor too large. That is 4 is less than or equals to n, less than or equals to 16. Again, I'm saying that this is the book which from where I have taken is from the B.S. Grewal. This book is saying that it is this range have to be like this, but it might vary with the different books. But in the particular session, we are taking it as 4 to 16. It might be a little bit of a change in these numbers. Okay. Chi-square test of independence of attributes. Now, based on the null hypothesis, so before that it is, we can have if the population is known to have two major attributes, right? Two major attributes, A and B. Then A can be divided into M categories, A1, A2 up to AN. Let me just give you that table. It's known as the contingency table. We will just define that as well. It's known as the contingency table, where if the population is known to have two major attributes, A and B. So these are the two major attributes. Sorry, this is A attribute, and this columns follows the B attribute. Can be divided into M categories, A1, A2 up to AM. So if you observe A1, A2 up to AM. Okay. And B can be divided into N categories, B1, B2, Bn. So B1, B2, Bn. So it can be written as in a matrix form. According to the members of population, and hence those of the sample, can be divided into N classes. In this case, the sample data may be presented in the form of a matrix containing M number of rows and N number of columns, and hence Mn cells, showing the observed frequencies OI. So these are the OIs. These are the OIs, observed frequencies. Observed frequencies OIJ in the various cells, where I is from 1 to M, where these I, okay, I'll just write down here, I is equals to from 1 to M, and j is moving from 1 to n, right? Because we do have those many numbers of rows and columns respectively. Oj means the number of observed frequency possessing the attributes ai and bj. So this is nothing but, this Oij is nothing but having the attribute ai and bj. If you'll observe, this Oij is an intersection of this row ai and the column here as bj. So this is the notation you can see. It's almost same as that of the matrix notation. Frequencies possessing the attributes ai and bj. The matrix or tabular form of a sample data called as m cross n. It's known as m cross n contingency table. So this is known as the contingency table, right? Now based on the null hypothesis H0, that is the assumption that the two attributes a and b are independent, we compute the expected frequencies eij. So this is what is been given in the example, or you can say the observed frequency is in an experiment. So we have to compute eij for various cells using the formula eij is equals to oi star cross o star j divided by capital N. I is moving from 1 to m, j is moving from 1 to n. What is this eij means? This is a mathematical notation. Let me just tell you what is it. So eij is total of observed frequencies in the ith row. Total of the observed frequencies in the ith row. So this is row total. So this is the row total. You can say the ai row total here into total of observed frequencies in the jth column. So again this is o star j, right? So number from here. So what we have to do it in the contingency table, we'll be adding the row total as well as the column total, and we are talking about these respective numbers related to this oij. So if I need to have the oij here at corresponding the expected frequency, that is nothing but this number into this number divided by total of all cell frequencies. So what is the total of all cell frequencies is this. That means this cross this divided by this is nothing but the expected frequency corresponding to oij. Similarly for other columns we can follow it up. Chi-square in this case is nothing but summation of I from 1 to m. Summation is from j to n. Oij minus eij, the square upon eij. It's same as that of, okay, anyways we'll be solving the question at that time. You'll understand it better. Rather than to go for two summations, we can just have this in the tabular form, and we can form this oij minus eij column, and then we can have this type of values at all. So we will just have the total of that particular column. Okay, based on this, the chi-square test of independence of attributes, we do have few of the you can say that the notes. First, or the remarks also you can consider. The number of degrees of freedom for this chi-square, actually it's a chi-square, computed from the m cross n contingency table is nu is equals to m minus 1 into n minus 1. So it's a product of them. What is the decision we have to take? If chi-square cal is less than chi-square nu alpha, then accept H0 at a percentage of label. So whatever the percentage of the label has been given, we have to accept it in this case. That means what? The attributes A and B are independent. Second is, if chi-square cal is greater than chi-square nu alpha, then we have to reject H0 at the percentage of label of significance. That is, A and B are not independent. That is, A or B are not independent. So this is all about the chi-square distribution and the chi-square test of goodness of fit, and then the chi-square independence of attributes. So we'll be solving the problems in detail based on the theory what we have defined it now. I just want to have okay, fine. This is one chi-square table. I'm just displaying this table here. How to do it? So what we have done it for the F distribution, the same thing is here. Only the difference is we were having the 2 degrees of freedom at that time, nu1 and nu2. Here we do have it only 1 degrees of freedom, but we will be having the LOS, that is the level of significance. So suppose for example we have got mu is equals to 5 and we need to find it as 5% of level of significance. So we have to see the value here as chi-square nu alpha, what we have defined there as this in the row of 5 and below 0.05. What is it? It is 11.07. So this is the value for chi-square. So this is the value for chi-square nu. Nu in this case is 5. Alpha is equals to 0.05 is equals to 11.07 or 07 is the value for chi-square, this value, right? Okay, this is all about the chi-square distribution and goodness of fit and all. We'll be stay tuned, stay connected for the upcoming sessions, upcoming problems based on the chi-square, the attributes, goodness of fit, Poisson distribution, normal distribution and everything. Thank you so much. Happy learning.